What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking to you about what would be a proper way to nerf the roller, or perhaps what would be a proper way to balance the bury mechanic. As you guys know, in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, burying is a very strong mechanic now because in relation to Smash 4, you no longer get reduced knockback when you hit someone out of being buried. So because of that, moves like Roller, the Inkling's Roller, have become very infamous and have generated a lot of hate and a lot of complaining. And so, if it were up to me, these are a couple ways we could nerf Roller or burying altogether. So, first things first, nerf the bury mechanic in itself. Now, there's pros and cons to doing this. The pros would be, you could reset it back to the way it was in Super Smash Bros. For Wii-U, where if you bury an opponent, one, they aren't buried for too long, and two, if you do hit them, the knockback of the move is greatly reduced. This, of course, would allow players to no longer die from being buried, but you could still use it to pretty much set up combos out of bury, but of course, it would require a lot of skill to perfect the timing of which your opponent will no longer be buried and they'll go being launched into the air. Because of course, when you are launched into the air, or you don't do anything out of getting buried, there is a certain amount of time where the person that was buried cannot perform an action. So it would still have its uses, but it would no longer be a kill setup, and I'm sure that would make a lot of people happy. You could also nerf the amount of time players are buried. So you could still allow people to kill out of being buried. However, you could make it so that they don't have, 3 seconds or a lot of time to actually charge up a kill move to make it even stronger. And of course, I'm sure that will also make people happy. Now, the issue with nerfing the bury mechanic across the board is that a lot of characters don't actually have long buries. So let's, for instance, take the Inklings again. Their bury, without mashing, you'll probably be grounded for about 3 seconds. In relation to, let's say, King K rules down throw, where that is a way easier to mash out of, and it has a significantly less longer time in which the opponent is buried. So if you nerf burying time across the board, then a lot of characters that have short bury times, like even Rob's down throw, they won't actually be able to use it to their advantage at all. As a matter of fact, I would even go as far as to say that people will pop out easily, like instantly. So it would make burying useless for a lot of characters, while some characters will retain just a bit use for the mechanic. And I don't think that's the way to go, because I, for one, personally do not think that, these moves that have long bury times, that there's no counterplay to them. There is counterplay to Roller. There is counterplay to Zero Suit Samus's down B grounding people. I just feel like people aren't trying hard enough to learn or get better at improving their counterplay towards the move. Make mashing easier. So you guys know that you can mash out of being buried just like you can mash out of being grabbed. The more input you put in, the less time you spend in the ground. So I think that a lot of people do not necessarily know how to mash as quick, or they just haven't practiced mashing at all. Something that I did in Smash 4 was I would swipe my fingers across the face buttons A, B, X, Y, because those all count as individual inputs. I remember learning that from a BeefySmashdood's video. I'll go ahead and post that in the description below. And they even made a new video on the bury mechanic as well and counterplay to it. So you should check that out too. But a patch that they can implement into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is actually allowing more inputs to be a lot easier to perform. And of course, they can make this, because in my opinion, mashing takes a form of skill, right? Some players can mash better than others. So of course, those who can mash better than others should be rewarded by having significantly less time being buried in the ground. Of course, if you want that same reward, then you have to work towards it and perfect your mashing. I do think they can make the inputs a lot easier and a lot less stressful to get on your hands. And so if they did that, I think that universally players would see a lot less time of them being buried, and that would actually significantly increase the amount of counterplay towards burying and a lot less complaining. And I do think that is a direction that Sakurai can go if he decides to patch the bury mechanic altogether. But those are a couple ways I think we can not only nerf Roller, but just nerf burying in general. However, I don't fully agree with it because I actually do think it's kind of cool that some characters can now have kill setups out of burying their opponents, but you know, a lot of players are complaining. I can see how it can be annoying, but I do think that people are not trying hard enough to get good at counterplay towards the move that buries you in the first place. And so I'm not really a fan of nerfs right now. I do think the game is in a really good position, but that'll be a topic for another video. Thank you guys for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe down below, and be sure to follow me on my Instagram and on my Twitter. Super important because I will be posting content specifically for my Instagram and on my Twitter. So if you guys want to keep up with that content as well, be sure to follow me there. It's NAKAT. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any ideas on how to nerf the bury mechanic, let me know in the comment section below. Take it easy. Deuces.